Hi there! My name's Carolina and I'm 19. I live in a two-parent family and I'm a straight B student. I enjoy my life to the fullest. A few years ago, I met a guy in the street and he invited me for a walk. We had a nice chat and he said we should go to a cafe later. I liked him a lot, so I agreed. His name was Joseph, and he was a 21-year-old athletic guy with a good sense of humor, uninhibited and confident. We met a few more times and I realized it was more than a simple attraction. I fell in love with him, and he felt the same. We were so happy and ready to take on the world together. He helped me with my studies, and I sometimes cooked lunches for him to take to work. Everyone thought we would eventually get married. Although we dated for several years, we didn't have a single major argument. One day Joseph called me, and since I was in high spirits, I thought he was going to invite me to some place. But he said that he had to leave for another city, and we had to break up. He hung up, and I didn't even have time to say a word. I was shocked. We had been dating for so long, and out of the blue he told me he was leaving. We didn't have any arguments the day before. What happened? I wondered. Maybe he got tired of me and didn't want to say it straight. Maybe he had some issues at work. Then why did he have to break up? I was torturing myself with thoughts until his friend called me and asked if we could meet. I gathered my wits and went to meet with him. When I saw his friend, I felt I could no longer restrain myself and burst into tears. He tried to comfort me, but I didn't want to lose any time and asked him to tell me why we were meeting. By the way, his name was Matthew. After some hesitation, he finally began to speak. As a teenager, Joseph was in a difficult financial situation. That's when he decided to start his own business, and he urgently needed money for that. At that time, he joined some gang. Joseph asked his buddies for money, saying he would pay interest, but his business failed and he found a job as an ordinary manager. Since then, gangsters wouldn't leave him alone. Joseph delayed the payment, and they began to threaten him, saying that if he didn't return the money, they would get some of his dearest people. Joseph moved to another city, where he found a job with good pay, and he already had an interview. He didn't say anything to me or his family just to make sure we were safe. He left me so that the gangsters didn't see us together. He didn't want me to be a part of his mess and his problems, so he decided to break up. As I was listening to Matthew, I simply froze, and then again burst into tears. I really did not know what to think and what to do. Matthew said I shouldn't try to get in touch with Joseph or see him until he repays the debt. I had to wait. And Matthew promised to help meanwhile. I was ready for this. I even felt better. I thought there was something wrong with our relationship. So I waited for several months. All this time I was expecting a call or a message from Joseph. Suddenly, a phone rang. It was Matthew. He told me to be strong as Joseph had died in hospital. I fainted and fell down onto my bed. Then Matthew came. He gave me some water and tried to comfort me. I flew into a tantrum. How could this happen? Matthew said that it was gangsters to blame. He told me that I should calm down and continue living my life. It was all nonsense to me. My boyfriend died and he was asking me to calm down? He gave me a big hug and told me he could stay with me and I could rely on him. I didn't like that move, so I pushed him away and told him to get out of my place. That made him mad and he slammed the door. I thought there was something wrong with that story, so I began my own investigation. I found out that Joseph died in our city, so he'd never left. Why did he lie to me? Because of gangsters? The next day, I called Joseph's mother. She said that Joseph never had any issues with gangsters. I quickly went to the scene of the investigation and told everything I knew. Joseph's mom said she didn't know Matthew, and Joseph had no friends. The investigation revealed that the club used to beat my boyfriend belonged to Matthew. He was caught. He confessed he'd been long in love with me and that it made him beat my boyfriend to death. And it was him who threatened to kill Joseph if he didn't break up with me. He was sentenced to imprisonment. I did not expect something like this to happen. My friends and my family try to make me feel better, but I can't forget Joseph, and I can do nothing to return him. Thanks for watching. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. Share in the comments whether you think you can meddle in other people's relationships.